Hey dear, Zinzi here, and I am so excited today because I have a whole bunch of book mail to show you. Some are from publishers, some I bought because I'm wanting to transition into the wintertime. I'm not quite ready for Christmas yet, so some are just cozy, dark sweater weather reads, and then some are straight up in the mountains with snow when I finally want to feel that chill. So let's go take a look, shall we? Alright, starting with books that I received from publishers, and Tor.com was super sweet, and they sent me finished copies of Mira Grant's new, I think it's supposed to be like a middle grade series about a boy and girl separated from different parallel worlds, and they meet each other, and it's like fate, and they go on adventures with each other, and I just think the whole parallel world concept is really awesome. One of my favorite series is his Dark Materials, and I just love Lyra and Will's relationship. So if this is more like a whimsical spin on that, that sounds super fun and enticing. And one thing I do want to clarify before I move on to the next book, A. Deborah Baker is Mira Grant's pseudonym. She uses I think 3 different pseudonyms for different genres and to give different feelings. I know her most as Mira Grant within her horror and thriller category, so it'll be interesting seeing her try a new vein. Okay, next I have an arc that I'm so excited about, and Wednesday Books was so sweet to send it to me. And first off, look at the cover. It's a dress shaped like a heart. It's genius cover design, so that alone drew me into this book, but the blurb did too. So I'm gonna read the little blurb for you. The human heart is a mystery. A young lady who wants to be a surgeon more than she wants to marry. A resurrection man trying to survive in a city where it's too easy to die. And the freshly dug up corpses that bring these 2 tender souls together. A deliciously gruesome gothic tale about the lengths one will go for their passion and the sinister twists of fate that lurks in the shadows. And ooh, I heard this one is set in Scotland, so it is a delicious, morbid, macabre, Scottish Gothic, and that is everything I could want in a book, and I am so excited to read it. I believe it's coming out either January or February, and I can't wait to review it closer towards then. And next I have Waif, which was sent to me by the author herself, and I am actually currently reading this one, and it's about an unhappy married couple, and the wife admits that she's fantasizing about this dream man, and the husband is like, okay, tell me about your dream man and I'll get plastic surgery to look like him. So they end up going to a shady back alley surgeon and get caught up in this seedy underbelly, and it's really interesting so far. Okay, next I have The Library at Mount Char, and this one follows a woman who was raised by an entity who might be a god, and she oversees this infinite, powerful library that may hold the key to the universe. However, her father goes missing, so she has to find out what happened to him while taking care of the library. Yeah, I've heard rave reviews about this one, so I'm excited to finally get my hands on it. Alright, next I have The Doll Factory, and this one follows a man named Silas who likes to collect an assortment of beautiful things, and he catches his eye on a woman, and he wants to collect her too. So this sounds like a creepy stalker story, and I am here for it. Next, I have a cover by, look at this cover. I'm obsessed with people turning into flowers and metamorphoses. So, yes, I wanted this one. And House of Hollow is kind of like a dark modern fairy tale about 3 sisters with some inhuman traits. So I'm excited. And I have another cover by because there's a lot of chiaroscuro and it looks like it's within the Baroque tradition. But cover aside, the premise of Sin Eater is that there's a world where lower class people or criminals are tasked with the duty of becoming sin eaters and having to absorb people's sins. And that just sounds like a fascinating concept, and I believe it's supposed to be like set in Elizabethan, 16th century England. Yeah, Elizabethan England. So that sounds super cool. Okay, next I have a book that's actually written in prose, and it's from the perspective of a real-life historical figure named Artemisia, and she was a famous Italian Baroque painter, but back then, not a whole lot of painters were women. So it's about her trying to navigate the art world, and I'm a sucker for art history, especially Baroque, so I am so excited to read this one. And I'm just gonna say excited a lot in this video because I'm excited, okay? Next, I have Piranesi, and in case you haven't heard about this one before, it's about a man stuck in a labyrinth, Pan's labyrinth. Okay, it's not Pan per se, but it's a goat creature, and he has to figure out how to escape. And I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I'm so excited to read this one. Next, I have a cosmic horror book, and if you don't know me, cosmic horror is one of my favorite subgenres of horror, and this one follows two friends who are scavengers, and they uncover this relic that may belong to a god, and they unearth something that they weren't quite expecting, and it just sounds fabulous, and I'm so excited to read it. Yay! More cosmic horror with Monstrous Heart, and this one centers around a woman who is part of this ancient old bloodline whose job is to oversee this lighthouse to protect people. However, she falls in love with this kraken hunter, and she has to decide between duty and her heart. And this one looks and sounds interesting, but I saw actually mixed reviews. Like, some people were like, oh, it doesn't explain a whole lot, but within cosmic horror, part of it is the unknowable and the unexplained, so I don't know if people are just hating on its genre or if it's an issue with the writing, but I guess I'll find out with this one. Okay, next I have an entire category of new books that I bought because they're kind of Slavic folklore inspired. And in case you don't know, my grandmother is Slovakian, so I want to get a little bit more in touch with my roots. So I bought a whole bunch of mountainy Slavic books. First, we have a book called Even the Darkest Stars, and this one is about a girl who dreams of becoming a explorer for the crown. So she takes on the task of trying to find a talisman in these dangerous, treacherous mountains, and it kind of sounds almost like a ripoff of Shadow and Bone, to be honest, but I'm still wanting to read this one for funsies. Okay, next I have The Bright and the Pale, and this one is set in the world where a powerful czar imprisoned his entire population in this wall of ice. So the population inside gets pretty brutal and cutthroat. So this girl joins this band of thieves along with her best friend. However, her best friend goes missing, so it's up to her to try to find and save him. And honestly, I did kind of get this one for the cover because it's absolutely beautiful, and I hope the inside is also beautiful as well. Next, we have a book that sort of sounds like Beauty and the Beast. It's about a girl whose father goes missing and is being held captive by this giant talking wolf, and the wolf tells her to solve the mystery behind his enchantment before a year is up. However, his enchanted home is coming to part at the seams, and rooms are disappearing, and she might disappear too if she doesn't solve the mystery. So this sounds just like a cozy little fairy tale. Next, I have The Sisters of the Winterwood, and this one is actually a previous library book that I bought, and I kind of tried to clean it up. It was covered in all this plastic, and I think it's actually in decent shape aside from being kind of aged and yellowed. But that adds a lot of character to this book, and I bought this one because I heard it compared to The Goblin Market, which is one of my favorite poems of all time, and it's about two sisters, and one sister falls under the spell of travelers, and she has to get in touch with her magical roots to try and save her, and it just looks really charming and enchanting. Yeah, okay, we are in the last and final category for this video, and that is like graphic novels, comics, and manga. And if you've made it this far, thank you. You are my little PogChamp. You are. Okay, first we have Frieren Beyond Journey's End, and this story follows an immortal elf who starts like appreciating the mortality of her former comrades, and it follows after the journey, and it's a reflection, and I did a whole review of that one if you want to hear more about it. Next we have Mercy, and this one is set during the gold rush, and it follows a gold mining town, and weird things are happening, people are changing, and while this is happening, a beautiful, mysterious woman arrives, and the townspeople are trying to figure out, is she the cause of it, or is she trying to help them? How are they related? And I'm just totally in love with the artwork. It looks beautiful, so I'm so happy to finally get my hands on this one. Next, I have Faithless, and there's not a whole lot I can use to talk about this one without YouTube being unhappy with me, so I'll just read the tagline. Faith is bored as hell, and hell has noticed. So she enters into a relationship with the devil, and they have fun times. And this looks like a fun time. Okay, last but not least, we have Fairest, The Hidden Kingdom, which is like an MA version of the Rapunzel fairy tale. And this one actually has some like Japanese folklore inspiration. So Rapunzel can strangle and kill people with her hair. That sounds awesome. I look forward to reading it, yeah. Okay, we're all done, and I don't think I'll do another book haul for a while because that's exhausting, and I need to read the books that I have. So I'm gonna start reading these ones. Let me know which books or manga or comics you thought looked most interesting, and if you have recommendations for me, let me know down below in the comments. As always, take care, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. See ya!